Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. The headlines. Zambia's first Republican President KENNETH KAUNDA dies aged 97. Temporary fuel shortage due to high international prices, charges an expert. Pupils in examination classes saddened by the closure of schools due to COVID-19. In international news, Algeria's Islamist MSP party very satisfied with election results. And in sports, Zambia to use foreign players at the 2021 COSAFA tournament. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka.
And now the main news in detail. Zambia's first Republican President, Dr. KENNETH KAUNDA, has died. Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Simon Miti, has confirmed this development to the nation. Dr. Miti says Dr. KAUNDA was admitted to Minesoko Hospital in Lusaka on Monday after a short illness where he has died peacefully. And Zambia's serving Republican President Edgar Lungu has declared 21 days of national mourning in honor of the late Dr. KAUNDA.
It is with deep regret and sorrow that His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, President of the Republic of Zambia, announces to the nation and the international community the passing of our beloved founding father, icon and global statesman, His Excellency Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, first President of the Republic of Zambia. Dr. Kaunda, who was admitted to Minesoko Medical Center in Lusaka, died peacefully this afternoon at 14:30 hours. His Excellency the President has since declared 21 days of national mourning in honor of the late Dr. Kaunda. During this period, all activities of entertainment nature are suspended with immediate effect, and all flags will fly at half-mast.
Kapijimpanga Royal Establishment Village Headman Welena has disputed allegations circulating on social media alleging that the former Inspector General of Police, Ephraim Mateo, has died from COVID-19. Speaking when Northwestern Province Police Commissioner Elias Chushi on Provincial Permanent Secretary Willis Manjimena visited the funeral house in Solwezi, Headman Welena says Mr. Mateo has died from high blood pressure. The headman who spoke on behalf of Venakulu family of the Kapijimpanga Royal Establishment says his family is saddened and shocked about the death, adding that the government has already provided transport to take family members to Lusaka to pick up the body. Headman Welena has since thanked the government for the support rendered.
Nowe kisemi tuhaikara naruka tajo na mambo arufura wa Mateo bahati kufa kesha kuma 22 hours ya bufuku tutsipano pakiziro bakisemi babine kuyimana kuya kurusaka pano konka kurusaka kwa kukafuma zuba zotukajika kana ketu ayuka kana pamande mubizikureta ketu akiyuka ni pano kubura ko ntandake kubamba ba Mateo bafuira mukipatera kya maina soko hospital nobe kisemi mwane tuzina buranda bukatampe kabizi twatambwira ba PS ne ba commissioner of police abo betu pa motoka yetu na nobe bakisemi kuyana kurusaka na kusenda mubizi ne kabizi ke kusantira ki kafrumende hauno kafrumende twa musantira pamingiro yo ayingira mwayuka kwitu pa motoka kufuma kuno kufa kwa Mateo ketu akiyukishane kine kikora nobe kisemine mambo twadzikwebeka tubazinga mukipatera no malaria no BP yo iba shupirenga BP pano abibi ashara ketu akiyuka ne twayuka ko kwamba BP yo iba kwatsire kime kyo bazinga mukipatera pano byashara mwantu kyange ukiuba confirm mambo ketu akiumvisha no kisemine.
In other news, President Edgar Lungu says there is no doubt that farmers need to make decent profit for farming to become sustainable. Speaking during the national launch of the 2021 crop purchasing program by the Food Reserve Agency, which is taking place in Kauma district of Western Province, President Edgar Lungu disclosed that the performance of the agriculture sector has escalated. He reiterates that the exceptional performance in the production of various crops is a clear indication that the agriculture policies that the government has put in place are being implemented. The head of state has since assured the farmers that the government will continue to champion their interest in the quest to fully transform the country's agriculture sector.
Ladies and gentlemen, the exceptional performance in the production of various crops is a clear demonstration that the agriculture sector is responding to the deliberate policies that my government has been implementing. Agricultural activities are time sensitive, and because of this, my government has prioritized early distribution of farming inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program. I am sure by now you must have come across trucks distributing fertilizer across the country. You may wish to know that the increased production we have recorded in the 2020-2021 agricultural season is due to timely payments to farmers that supplied crops to the Food Reserve Agency. And like in previous seasons, when payments were delayed, government has since shortened the process of paying farmers and ensured fair and competitive prices are offered. There is no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that farmers deserve to make a decent profit for farming to become sustainable. I wish, therefore, to assure our hard-working farmers that my government will continue to champion your interests in our quest to fully transform the country's agricultural sector.
Erratic fuel supply, which has hit most districts of Eastern Province for a month, has persisted with Nyimba, Petauke, Sinda, Katete and Kasengwa, has angered the residents of these areas. In an interview, some Chipata residents have expressed concern over the shortage being experienced in the province, stating that this has disrupted economic activities. Jacob Mwanza, a resident and motorist, says the fuel shortage has impacted negatively on farmers who are still harvesting, as they cannot manage to transport their produce from the farms to storage facilities.
The campaign time, this is harvesting time. Our farmers who have tractors, who have lorries, and they are ferrying produce from the farms, they are badly hit. Sometimes they make arrangements, so it's almost a month now, which is not good, especially for Eastern Province as a farming block. We are really badly hit.
Okay. So we've noticed, is it the whole lot of the filling stations, or it's just in dotted?
Almost all the filling stations. You know, we have about 5 filling stations here in Chipata. Oasis, Puma, Engine, and what have you. But by yesterday, only Oasis had fuel for the whole week. Only today, I think, that's when Total filling station has some fuel. But the others, like Puma, it's almost 5 days now they don't have. Engine, it's almost a week now they don't have. So it's really very, very bad. We don't know whether it's sabotage, whether it's deliberate, whether we just don't know and we can't understand. Because this is a very precious commodity, especially during this time of the year.
Energy expert Johnston Chikwanda has charged that the temporary shortage of fuel such as kerosene, among other oils, is as a result of the price increase on the international market. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Chikwanda explains that the current fuel prices have been hiked internationally, making it difficult for the private fuel dealers to order the commodity. Mr. Chikwanda explains that this means that government should come in and subsidize the purchase of fuel than leaving it in the hands of the private dealers. Meanwhile, Mr. Chikwanda has commended government for maintaining fuel price stability for at least 1 year, 6 months.
The prices initially were falling down when COVID came in, and then as world economy started opening up, the prices started building up, and the prices have been escalating up to where they are now, almost $70 per barrel. We have also noted that a number of countries in the sub-region have been increasing fuel pump prices. However, in Zambia, we have not had any fuel price increase. The last fuel price increase in Zambia was in December 2019. From December 2019 to date, there has been no fuel pump price increase. This means that the prices have been stable, and this goes to demonstrate government's commitment to stabilize the pump prices, because it has never happened in a very long time that as a country we can go 1 year, 6 months without adjustment to the fuel pump prices. This is very much commendable, and we know that it is very, very challenging because of what is happening globally, the prices shooting up and down, and for government to sustain the pump prices at the way they are, it is something that is commendable, and I want to place it on record to commend government for what they have done by keeping the prices stable for more than 1 year and 6 months. This is how it should be, and I'm encouraging them to continue pursuing other different approaches of stabilizing the prices. The answer is not always in increasing. There are different approaches that can be used.
Bars and Nightclub Owners Association of Zambia has rejected the directive by the government that their businesses only operate from Friday to Sunday evenings. In an interview with Camnet News, Association Secretary General Edmond Lifekelo argues that the Lusaka City Council has been issuing trading permits to bars and nightclubs owners for daily operations, despite them being aware of President Edgar Lungu directing that bars open only from Friday to Sunday. Mr. Lifwekelo adds every sector is affected by the current economic challenges, adding that bars and nightclubs cannot afford to only operate 3 days with few hours.
Following the announcement by Secretary to Cabinet Dr. Simon Miti that bars and nightclubs will now operate from Friday to Sunday evening, Bars and Nightclub Owners Association of Zambia Secretary General Edmond Lifwekelo has challenged this decision. In an interview, Mr. Lifwekelo argues that President Edgar Lungu has never directed that bars operate on a daily basis, but that the Lusaka City Council has been issuing bars and nightclub owners with licenses to be trading on a daily basis for a fee. He adds that bars and nightclubs, like any other business, have been affected by COVID-19, but that closing them will completely collapse their businesses.
That's why yesterday's position, as announced by Dr. Mead, we're saying to us as an association, it doesn't change things. Because that hasn't been official position that bars should open 3 days in a week. And that's how we started in the beginning. We went to the councils to say, we have got this bar license. Can't you convert them into retail license? The councils refused. They saw an opportunity to make money. They told us, if you want to start operating on a daily basis retail, you have to get these licenses. Each license costs 4,800. I thought I haven't come with a receipt. I could have showed you 4,800, which were made to pay despite the hardship we went through that time.
He adds that members of his association have refused that they will not close bars but continue to operate while adhering to the prescribed guidelines.
Us right now, I'm telling the government, this is from our members, they've refused. They've rejected it. And through our various social media channels yesterday, we issued instructions to our members to disregard that statement which appeared yesterday. Even the first time it appeared, government rubbished it as fake news, but we knew it was the truth. And then it came back on our government confirming it. So to us, I think we say we're not going to allow to that. And there's hunger amongst our members. This is a business which is just hand to mouth. There's no savings. There's literally no saving which anyone is to talk about.
He further says bar owners are willing to defend themselves from any person who will be sent to shut them or harass them, as was the situation when the first lockdown was announced.
We're open to dialogue. Let government engage us and we talk. Otherwise, I think anything other than that, we don't want to see confrontations. And this is the last thing, you know. And our message to members is to say, those who have been tasked to enforce a decision like for yesterday should approach this with the utmost care. Because I think we will no longer be cry babies, whereby every Jim and Jack will just enter into a bar with a whip, with a belt, he removes the belt and start whipping people out. You know, our members are now saying that will meet the resistance.
But efforts to get a comment from the Lusaka City Council could not materialize, as the Lusaka City Council Town Clerk Alex Mwansa was still having a meeting with the association by broadcast time. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Pupils in examination classes have bemoaned the 3-week closure of schools by the government, saying it will affect their performance in the examination. Likando Sichone, a Kabilonga Boys Secondary School pupil, says the 6 months closure of schools in 2020 greatly affected their learning, adding that the second closure will worsen things. And Zambia National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia NUPES says the government should consider revising the school timetable to allow school holidays to fall in the cold season to mitigate the further spread of COVID-19.
Thursday, 17th June 2021 was like a normal day for some pupils in Lusaka who were not aware that schools were indefinitely closed to curb the further spread of COVID-19 in schools. Disappointed by the news of the closure, the pupils were seen moving around discussing the effect COVID-19 has brought on the education sector. An interaction with some pupils from Kabulonga Boys Secondary School has revealed that information on the closure of the schools were communicated late, adding that the closure will affect their performance for those in examination classes.
I didn't know anything. I was just told by a friend I was not learning to do. And I think it was going to be better if I was told before a week before. Even though we close or what, we still write the exam. So we're required now to work harder by ourselves. We have to go ahead. And people here, we don't have material, some of us. We're not coming from the same homes. So this is going to affect all of us badly. But then again, for those who are fortunate, it's good. But for some of us, it's not. Examination should have been spread. If anything, I don't know why we were all learning at once, because last year in grade 11, they were 12 that come learn alone. If anything, 12 and 9 alone.
The pupils add that the e-learning platforms have not been so helpful to them, considering that most pupils do not have access to internet platforms.
People can't afford TVs, phones, just normal things, because the people who have smartphones quite right, but they can't access the internet or access bundles because money at the moment is quite tight for most people.
Right, it has already affected us because last year we closed for about 6 months, which made us go behind in our syllabus. And yet next month we'll be expecting to write our mock exams and writing 2 mock exams. So I think it will be difficult for us to write. And yet in November about to write an exam.
In St. Luke Private School in Lusaka, KAUNDA, Deputy Chairperson, says the second closure of schools is a wake-up call for private schools to engage in productive activities that will enable them to earn resources away from school fees.
So this will really affect the private sector in that we really rely on the payments from the kids, and I think it's an eye-opener for us, not just to think of getting the money from the kids, to embark on projects like farming, fish farming, piggeries, like what Kablonga is doing, production unit. I think they should be in place.
And the National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia NOPE says COVID-19 is here to stay, hence calling on government to consider revising the school timetable to enable holidays to fall in court season.
Calling for a proper, assessment and analysis on the, the escalating levels of COVID-19 in schools. And regrettably, a number of cases have been recorded in these schools, and so we are saying the closure is timely. Now, one consideration that must be done by government is that, you see, COVID-19 has come to stay, the way things are appearing, and so we recommend that June and some parts of July be a holiday, because that is the time when the levels of COVID-19 go so very, very high, and so we are saying, can they be declared as holidays?
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Zambian author and entrepreneur author Malama Katulwenda has charged that the move by the Electoral Commission of Zambia to suspend the roadshows for the Patriotic Front and the United Party for National Development in selected parts of the country is a harsh decision. In an interview, Mr. Malama explains that ECZ was supposed to engage both parties than making such a statement. He reiterates that what is more disturbing is that the Commission has extended the ban to the media houses. Meanwhile, Governance Election Advocacy Research Services Initiative Zambia's Executive Director Magnona Jipenzi says the Commission has no such powers to direct media houses on how to and not to cover during a campaign period.
The move by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to suspend 2 political parties' roadshows in selected parts of the country has raised concern among some stakeholders who describe the action by the Commission to be unfair.
I would like to commend the ECZ for their prompt response to this problem by banning the UPND and the Patriotic Front from carrying out their roadshows, curtail the escalation of this violence, because most of these members do attack each other every now and then. But there is a problem. The problem is that the ECZ have been too harsh in the sense that I believe that they should have called the 2 parties together and spoken to them again about the Electoral Code of Conduct instead of issuing a blanket or a unilateral ban on all activities related to campaigning.
On Tuesday this week, the Commission, with immediate effect, suspended all manner of political campaigns for the Patriotic Front and the United Party for National Development (UPND) in Pulungu, Lusaka, Namwala and Nakonde due to escalating violence. The Commission further announced that it was going to review its decision after 14 days and directed all media houses not to cover any campaign activities or host the banned political parties.
What's more shocking is that the ECZ has also extended this ban to the use and access of the media. I think that this is unfair, both on the Patriotic Front and on the UPND. I think they should have allowed the use of the media for these two parties as an alternative. So the other thing is that what the ECZ and the Zambia police need to do is to investigate the root causes of violence in the country.
Meanwhile, Governance Elections Advocates Research Services GEARS Initiative Zambia Executive Director McDonald Chipenzi says the Commission has no such powers to direct media houses on who to cover, not to cover during a campaign period.
The houses not to cover the suspended political parties, the UPND and the Patriotic Front, is an affront to editorial freedom and media freedom in this country. The media has got the right under the Constitution to decide who they want to cover, to decide their editorial content, and not to be prescribed by an electoral commission. We find that is an affront and a way of trying to shrink the media space in our country, and must not be tolerated. What ECZ should be concerned with are the activities of those suspended political parties and not the activities of the media.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Lobby and Advocacy Youth Program 2050 Director Godwin Banda has appealed to the government to put more restrictions, especially on political campaigns, as they remain the first super spreader of COVID-19. Speaking with Camnet TV in an exclusive interview, Mr. Banda explains that political parties doing door-to-door campaigns go in masses, hence imposing danger to citizens. He notes that the escalation of COVID-19 cases means that political parties that will not follow the guidelines that have been placed must be banned from taking part in this year's general elections. Meanwhile, Mr. Banda has commended the government for the step done to impose COVID-19 restrictions, stating that it is a move taken towards saving the lives of the majority Zambians.
We just want to recommend the government and His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu for bringing these COVID-19 restrictions. I think it is a step toward saving the precious lives of Zambians, mostly those that are immunocompromised. Yeah, but however, we just want to appeal the government to take even more keen interest in bringing more restrictions in the political campaigns that are going around, despite bringing the issue to do with the road shows, door-to-door campaigns. We believe there is interactions taking place here and there, and we don't know who is infected and who is affected at that particular time. We just want the government to come up with a program or even a plan on how even the door-to-door campaign should be done, even the road shows, how the road shows should be done, without even risking people's lives pertaining to COVID-19.
You're still watching Camnet TV Main News. For now, we take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
President Edgar Chagwalungu and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwalungu and the PF that have brought you change.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign. We will make it shine.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka. Thank you for staying with us. We now continue with the rest of the main news. Senior Chief Nzamani of the Ngoni-speaking people of Chipata District of Eastern Province have charged that the province is free from political violence and police must allow all political parties to conduct campaigns without any interference and intimidation. The traditional leader says it is unfortunate that the Electoral Commission of Zambia could not single out the violent party and disqualify it on the basis of perpetrating electoral violence, instead opted to effect an umbrella ban on road shows. Senior Chief Nzamani explains that the move is unfair to both the electorates who want to hear what participating parties are promising the masses and the political parties who are non-violent. He has since urged political parties to conduct their campaigns peacefully and engage the police so that peace, law and order is maintained in the province before, during and after general elections.
All the way from Lusaka to Nakuru, kutaza pasi message watu kuba habari sote. Kule Kulende kuno kaliona kwa kutubitika leo lilichiwo zaboneza kwa mwe kunganda na kunganda watu ndike lilichiwo kuti kuponya vitu kuponyao katani bano kuponya
tuwaziwa kuma tione poyamba polisi ngozi
no kuganza bayisize ngane bali kuchitika kwa sibamena ndi mbone utiwotande unia lumba option na what's lucky no we need to get one point out with message what are you going to offer the people, what are you going to do for the people
The Tonse Youth Network Zambia has vowed to name and shame political parties engaging in political violence ahead the August 12th general elections. Network chairperson Ges Nyirenda is saddened that some parts of the country have witnessed episodes of violence, a situation he describes as unfortunate in a democratic state like Zambia. Mr. Nyirenda tells Camnet TV News in an interview that they will embark on an awareness campaign Mr. Nyirenda tells Camnet TV News in an interview that they will embark on an awareness campaign to discourage young people from engaging in violence.
Zambia has been treated to a series of political violence, mainly between the Greens and the Reds, being the ruling Patriotic Front and the opposition United Party for National Development. This prompted the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to ban the two political parties from campaigning in Lusaka, Namwala, Mpulungu and Nakonde districts. The issue of violence has attracted concerns from various stakeholders, including the church, civil society organizations, and members of a diplomatic community who feel with political will, violence can go into extinction. But as things stand, there's no distinction apart from the blame game, whose pattern is the same, just like in previous elections. Tonse Youth Network Zambia chairperson Ges Nyirenda has called for collective responsibility.
We are not going to leave those that send young people to commit violence. We are going to name them and we are going to shame them. We are not going to leave any stone unturned because young people have been taken for granted for a long time, and we are saying enough is enough. Let the young people take up their spaces. Let the young people be where they deserve to be. It is unfortunate, unfair, and unacceptable that young people are going to be crying for what they rightly deserve. Young people should be empowered now. Young people should be educated now. Young people should be in employment now. So we cannot continue with the issue of young people being used as tools of violence.
And Mr. Nyirenda believes the time is right to focus on how the plight of young people will be taken care of post the August 12 general elections. He says Tonse Youth Network Zambia is inspired by the need to ensure that the plight of young people, their deserved needs and deficiencies in participation and empowerment in all sectors are addressed without any delay.
Those that send you to commit violence are doing it so that it helps them. It is for their betterment. It is for them to be able to stick to power or to continue having resources while they keep you as young people in perpetual poverty. So young people must begin to realize that the most important is that they must be able to shape their dreams, and there is nothing of their dream in them fighting others. There is nothing of their dream in them engaging in violence. This is why, as the Tonse Youth Network, we are going to go flat out across the country and ensure that these young people are told just this.
Zambia wears the hat of being a beacon of peace, but that prestige may diminish if the right interventions are not put in place. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Zambia National Public Health Institute ZAMBIA has attributed the zero cholera cases in the country to the COVID-19 situation, which has to a large extent compelled people to be more hygienic. ZAMBIA Director for Communication, Information and Research, Mazianga Liwewe, is elated that the cholera vaccination that has been administered across the country is yielding positive results. Ms. Liwewe disclosed that Zambia undertook a risk assessment on the areas that are at high risk of being cholera hotspots and administered the vaccine as a control measure. She further says Lusaka has in the past recorded the highest cases of cholera and hoped that the vaccination will prevent the outbreak.
We also decided that for Zambia, we would eliminate cholera by 2025. And to do that, a lot of activities have been put in place. First of all, we developed what we call a multi-sectoral national cholera elimination plan. Multi-sectoral in nature that cholera, the factors that cause or contribute to cholera outbreaks are beyond the health sector. The disease-causing agent itself, the cholera vibrio, and other factors. Remember, water and sanitation are critical. So with all the partners or stakeholders who are responsible or need to participate in ensuring that we do not have cholera, we developed this plan, which is in action right now. And one of the things that was put in place to ensure that we control or prevent cholera in the country was to vaccinate people against cholera.
Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services Dr. Kennedy Malama has since announced that funds amounting to $1 million has been secured under the Global Fund to go towards the oxygen requirements. Speaking during the daily COVID-19 update, Dr. Malama says the health facilities remain full to capacity while oxygen supply is constrained, adding that measures are being put in place to address the situation. Dr. Malama says the increased COVID-19 situation being witnessed today is a direct consequence of the refusal of citizens not to heed public health guidelines, particularly super spreader events. And Dr. Malama, however, says the directive announced by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Simon Miti, are temporal as long as Zambia cooperates and controls COVID-19. And the country has witnessed 33 new deaths in the last 24 hours.
Why we are not encouraging mass testing, because at this point in Zambia you need to consider every person COVID-19 positive unless proven otherwise, because the rate of infection has spread so much. Therefore, with this, our cumulative number of COVID-19 cases in the country stands at 122,244. The breakdown of the new cases with the positivity per province as at today: Central 463, 22%. Copperbelt 314, 20%. Eastern 408, 33%. Luapula 62, 7%. Lusaka 1,075, 27%. It's clear that Lusaka has been a hotspot, a super hotspot, since the third wave came in. And that's why I appeal to the citizens of this country, the Lusaka residents, to lead by example. This is not time to play or joke with this disease. We are now getting information that even in our townships, our compounds, funerals are not unusual. We are seeing it from the hospital side, that COVID-19 is not only for the low-density areas, it is now in the high-density areas. So when you look at Lusaka itself, the number of cases continue to be very high. Muchinga 147, 9%. Northern 64, 9%. Northwestern 45, 11%. Southern Province 331, 22%, and Western 485.
National Restoration Party President Stephen Nyirenda says he is a law-abiding citizen who respects the judiciary. Speaking shortly after the court dismissed the petition where his nomination was being challenged, the opposition leader said that people must not use shortcuts to stop other people. Earlier, the court dismissed the petition in which Charles Mamoshe, the leader of the opposing Narep faction, was seeking a declaration and an order that the presidential nomination filed by Mr. Nyirenda on the 19th of May 2021 with the returning officer and all documents in support of his nomination for election of the office of the president are now unvoid. The court in its judgment this afternoon stated that the petition lacked merit, hence it being dismissed. Meanwhile, Mr. Mamoshe says he will respect the court's ruling on the matter.
I'm not a young man. I'm 62 years old. And all my life, I've walked the way to follow the rules. We have followed the rules, we've done the right thing. And some people, they're using the back door to try and put logs in our way. It doesn't work. Today, the courts have spoken. What I want to say, I want to also warn other people vying for presidency, walk the right way. Do not use shortcuts to stop other people. I know very well that this thing has been spearheaded by the so-called alliance, the one-man alliance. We know what it is. And we have Mr. Mamoshe, who is the petitioner there, who put it very clear to us to say, we will be with you, we agree everything if you come to the UPND alliance. It's not about the UPN alliance, it's about giving this country the proper leadership that it needs. That's what we stand for. We do not believe in the leadership of bangers. We do not believe in leadership of fighting, the same people that we want to work for. We don't do that. Today, the courts have spoken, it's for us, and we're eligible, we're doing the right way.
Munali constituency independent candidate Thomas Sipalo has observed with concern that some political parties have been competing on premises of who has many supporters despite the prevalence of the COVID-19. Mr. Sipalo notes that some political parties have been undertaking huge processions to show people that they have the numbers, a situation he says must be addressed. And Mr. Sipalo says as politicians conduct door-to-door campaigns, they must be sharing information on COVID-19.
It's like instead of just campaigning, people now are competing to who attracts a huge crowd, you know. But at the end of the day, one thing we need to understand is that when COVID comes, it won't look at you know which pani branch, you know which pani branch. Yes, as much as we want to compete, yeah, because that's what I'm seeing. You find that people, you know, sometimes me I fail to understand. You find that people on social media are showing a picture of a certain maybe person or a candidate with a lot of people. Them also, they'll make sure they'll bring a lot of people just to more like to counter-react to social media, which is wrong. At the end of the day, in whose expense are we doing that? At everyone's expense. Because when COVID comes, it won't choose to say, everyone will get sick. Then another thing is, please, ECZ, tell these people who are spreading the virus to say COVID is real. Because if we die, who is going to vote for us? So even us as candidates, we need to think about our people. That's why when we go to these compounds, what we are doing is we are making sure that we are taking my face mask, we are taking my sanitizer, and as we are campaigning, we are also educating the people on the dangers of COVID, on the dangers of not adhering to the COVID guidelines. So I hope each and every candidate could also start doing that, because makombo nyumu upeza wena wantu kuno na uko wana mangandie popularity. What you are forgetting is that COVID.
We take our second set of commercials. Coming next is international and sports news.
I was born in Mwengwa in a grass-thatched house. I went to school barefoot and then to secondary school, university camp, all of this on government bursary, on the sponsorship of the people of Zambia. Many people ask me questions. Why have you continued to seek public office? You've been arrested 15 times. This fight is not about Hakainde. It's about 18 million Zambians who want a better life. I'm standing for the presidency of this country because I know and I believe that this country is so rich and yet its people live in poverty. I am standing for that child to have an opportunity to go to school the way I did myself. It's time for change. Zambians have suffered enough. I'm Hakainde Hichilema. I invite you to take my hand. Together, we will build a better land for every Zambian.
Harry Mwanga Nkumbula International Airport, located just 15 kilometers from the Victoria Falls, is now one of the best and busiest airports that Zambia has. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date: 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges: 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time: 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time: 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Abex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka. Welcome back. We now get into our international item. Leader of Algeria's Islamist party, known as the Movement of Society for Peace, has said his party is very satisfied with the results of the elections. Abdurazaki Mauri was speaking at a press conference at his party's headquarters in the capital Algiers Wednesday. Over the weekend, the country's long-dominant National Liberation Front party won the legislative polls, but with a significantly reduced number of seats. The Electoral Board said Tuesday the civic exercise was the country's lowest ever turnout at 23.0%. The vote was shunned by the long-running Iraq protest movement and followed a string of arrests of opposition figures in the North African nation. Police heavily deployed in Algiers to preempt any attempt to hold rallies. Only 5.6 million of more than 24 million eligible voters lodged a ballot on Saturday polls. Al Jazeera also reports that on Thursday, Gbagbo checked in at Belgium's main airport as he flees back to Abidjan. After 10 years of legal procedures, the International Criminal Court confirmed their not guilty verdict in the case related to the 2011 post-electoral violence, allowing the former president to head back to his country.
Leader for Algeria's Islamist party Movement of Society for Peace, MSP, has said his party is very satisfied with the result of the elections. Abdel Razak Mokri was speaking at a press conference at his party's headquarters in Algiers Wednesday. We're very satisfied as we are in a position that allows us to perform a lot of movements and to work in a lot of different directions. God, the Algerian people and the voters have put us in an extremely comfortable position, which allows us to be of service to the country and to develop and expand our movement without any problem. Over the weekend, the country's long-dominant National Liberation Front party won the legislative polls. On a supposed government proposal, the MSP said, "We need a strategic dialogue to build the country, and we'll study this proposal and assess its seriousness and realism, and submit it to the Constitutive Council, which will take the decision." The vote was shunned by the long-running Iraq protest movement and followed a string of arrests of opposition figures in the North African nation.
Officials from the Congolese Airways Authority and the Aviation Authority of the Democratic Republic of Congo are working on the scene where a small plane belonging to the Congolese company KENNETH crashed Wednesday a few minutes after taking off from Kavumu Airport near Bukavu, capital of South Kivu province. This type of small aircraft is the main means of transporting basic necessities and minerals in the country. When we arrived, we removed the bodies that were in the rubble. One had lost his head. One had been cut in two. It was horrible. All of them were dead, unfortunately. We took the bodies to the Pakistani UN camp close to the scene. And now, a MINUSCO UN mission ambulance has just taken all the bodies to the town of Bukavu. Investigators seek to discover the root cause of the cargo flight's crash, in which all 3 people aboard, the Russian pilot, the Congolese co-pilot, and a passenger, lost their lives.
Supporters of former Ivory Coast President Laurent Gbagbo came to show their support to their father, their prophet, as they call him. On Thursday, Gbagbo checked in at Belgium's main airport as he flies back to Abidjan. After 10 years of legal procedures, the International Criminal Court confirmed their not guilty verdict in the case related to the 2011 post-electoral violence, allowing the former president to head back to his country. We've been by President Gbagbo's side for 10 years, since he was in The Hague. This is an opportunity to know that he's going back to Abidjan. We could not miss this opportunity. It was important for us to be there to say goodbye.
He's like a man who has been deprived of going home for almost 10 years and who finds the freedom to finally return to his country and to his family. So he's in a happy state of mind, excited about the idea of being able to return home, and he hopes, in any case, he wants to play his part in trying to reconcile Ivorians.
Gbagbo's acquittal and scheduled return has galvanized his supporters, who believe his prosecution was politically motivated. They've begun preparations to welcome the former leader.
We now get into our sports item. The Zambian national team coach Milutin Micho Sredojevic has described the 2021 COSAFA draw, which were done today, as tough. Speaking to FA's media team earlier today, Coach Micho said the opponents in the group are strong. Micho says it is a very tough group. Looking at our opponents, Malawi and Comoros have both qualified to the 2022 AFCON and we have not. And Madagascar were the quarter-finalists at the last AFCON, so we'll have to take each game serious, said the Zambian coach. And Coach Micho said he will rope in foreign players who were not part of the 3 international friendly against Senegal, Benin and Sudan. Micho says foreign players who were not part of the friendlies played previously will be included in the team so as to build the coordination among players as we prepare for the World Cup qualifiers. Zambia has been drawn in Group B alongside neighbors Malawi, Madagascar and Comoros.
We want to use COSAFA as a springboard, as a bridge towards the World Cup qualifiers that are starting in September. We are in a very tough competitive group. Let us take in consideration the fact that Malawi have qualified to the Africa Cup of Nations, that team of Comoros has qualified to the Africa Cup of Nations, that Madagascar were quarter-finalists of last Africa Cup of Nations, and for a whisker missing last semis with us for 1 goal we at home against Algeria, we have missed to go, is meaning tough competitive group where every match will count so much. Our intention is to go there and go step by step in a way that in group we are topping the group and looking to go to the semi-finals, and then going step by step in order to defend trophy that we are defending. We are looking to try to get as many as possible professionals that are in contention and have no enough match time and have missed a recent trip to West Africa, to Senegal, to Benin and to Sudan, that we use this chance for them to break into the competitive team that will go into the World Cup qualifiers. For the local players, of course, after finishing the league on 26th, it will not be easy for them to still keep themselves in competitive aspect. We are looking to make a comprehensive training program that will make us being ready for the tough competition, 20th edition of COSAFA.
That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Zambia's first Republican president, Kenneth Kaunda, dies aged 97. Temporary fuel shortage due to high international prices, charges an expert. Pupils in examination classes saddened by the closure of schools due to COVID-19. In international news, Algeria's Islamist MSP party very satisfied with election results. And in sports, Zambia to use foreign players at the 2021 COSAFA tournament. Before we go, here's a Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Psalm 31 verse 15, and it reads, "The course of my life is in your power. Deliver me from the power of my enemies and from my persecutors." Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Please on viewing.